Hey everyone! Today we're diving deep into one of the most intense and unexpected moments in Godzilla x Kong. The New Empire, the brutal no-holds-barred fight between Godzilla and Kong in the middle of Egypt. If you've seen the movie, you know this wasn't just a random skirmish. Godzilla beelined straight for Kong, showing zero hesitation, zero mercy. But why? What triggered this epic clash in such an unlikely location? Was it pure aggression? Or was there something deeper going on? To fully understand Godzilla's motivations, we first need to revisit the world of the New Empire. This is a universe where Titans are not mere monsters. They are apex predators, ancient rulers, and guardians of balance. After the events of Godzilla vs. Kong, the uneasy truce between these two giants gave way to separation. Kong in Hollow Earth and Godzilla watching over the surface world. Peace, for a time, prevailed. But this peace was fragile. With the emergence of a new threat, an ancient tyrant titan known as the Scar King, Kong was forced to return to the surface. And that's where Egypt comes into play. Well, buckle up, because we're about to break it all down. From the lore, to the hidden clues, to the real reason these two titans threw down in the desert. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll see this battle in a whole new light. Before we get into the Egypt fight, we need to understand where Godzilla and Kong stood before this movie. After Godzilla vs. Kong, 2021, the two titans reached an uneasy truce. Kong was taken to Hollow Earth, his ancestral home, while Godzilla remained on the surface as Earth's protector. They weren't friends, but they weren't actively trying to kill each other anymore. So what changed? In the New Empire, a new threat emerges. The Skull King, a tyrannical ape ruler from Hollow Earth who wants to dominate both the surface and the underground world. Kong, being the last of his kind, is directly in his crosshairs. Meanwhile, Godzilla starts acting differently. He's more aggressive, more territorial. He's not just patrolling, he's hunting. And when Kong is forced to return to the surface for help, Godzilla immediately senses him and goes on the attack. But why Egypt? Egypt isn't just a random desert. It's a key location in the MonsterVerse's ancient history. Throughout the films, we've seen that ancient civilizations worshipped titans, built temples for them, and even tried to control them. Egypt, with its pyramids and mythological ties to giant creatures like the Sphinx, is likely a hotspot for titan energy. Egypt was not just a random location for their encounter. It's a place of historical significance, mythic resonance, and strategic value. In MonsterVerse lore, Egypt is dotted with ancient titan temples, buried secrets, and ley lines of energy that draw these colossal beings. As Kong surfaced in Egypt with the aim of gathering intelligence on Scar King's presence or influence, Godzilla sensed the disturbance immediately. But more than that, he felt a challenger encroaching on his domain, and that was unacceptable. In the New Empire, we learn that Egypt sits atop a hidden titan gateway, a passage between the surface and Hollow Earth. Godzilla, being the apex predator, is drawn to this energy. But more importantly, he's drawn to Kong's presence near it. This wasn't just a territorial dispute, it was a preemptive strike. Here's the big question. Why did Godzilla attack Kong so aggressively? There are three key reasons. Godzilla and Kong are natural rivals. In Godzilla vs. Kong, they fought to establish dominance. Even though they parted ways, their instincts never truly settled. When Godzilla sensed Kong on the surface, especially near a Titan hotspot, his first reaction was to eliminate the competition. Godzilla is more than just muscle and atomic breath. He's a creature driven by instinct, pride, and a sense of cosmic balance. In the MonsterVerse, he is the Apex Titan, and that title isn't up for grabs. When Kong appeared in Egypt, Godzilla perceived it not as a mission of unity or investigation, but as an act of trespassing. Titans communicate through presence, posture, and energy. To Godzilla, Kong's return to the surface was a direct challenge. And remember, Godzilla had no knowledge of Kong's true intentions. There was no time for dialogue, only action. The Skull King's rise in Hollow Earth didn't just threaten Kong, it disrupted the natural order. Godzilla, as the balance keeper of the Titans, may have sensed this disturbance. His aggression could have been a way of testing Kong, seeing if he was strong enough to handle what was coming. This is the most fascinating theory. What if Godzilla wasn't actually attacking Kong, but something beneath him? The Egypt battle takes place near a Titan gateway. What if Godzilla detected a greater threat, like the Skull King's forces, and saw Kong as an obstacle? His aggression might have been a way of saying, "Get out of the way! I'm handling this!" Now, let's analyze the fight itself. Godzilla doesn't just attack, he ambushes Kong. He comes in with full force, using his atomic breath, tail strikes, and raw strength. Kong, caught off guard, has to fight defensively. Many fans wonder, why didn't they talk it out? Couldn't Kong signal his intentions? The truth is, Titans aren't humans. They don't talk. They act. And with stakes this high, with Scar King manipulating events, there was simply no room for hesitation. Let's not forget, this wasn't their first fight. Godzilla and Kong have a long and violent history. That history carries weight. Every punch thrown in Egypt had centuries of rivalry behind it. They may have allied before, but trust was never truly earned. But here's the interesting part. Godzilla doesn't go for the kill. If he truly wanted Kong dead, he could have done it. Instead, he seems to be sending a message. Maybe it's a warning. Stay out of my way. Or maybe it's a test. Prove you're strong enough to face what's coming. Let's explore the Hollow Earth angle. While Kong had made the Hollow Earth his new home, Godzilla had remained on the surface. This geographical separation symbolized more than just physical distance. It was a truce, an unspoken understanding. By surfacing, especially in such a high-energy region like Egypt, Kong broke that pact, at least from Godzilla's perspective. Either way, this fight wasn't just mindless destruction, it had purpose. After the Egypt battle, Kong is forced to retreat, but he doesn't hold a grudge. Instead, he realizes that Godzilla's aggression might be tied to the bigger threat, the Skull King. This leads to the unlikely team-up later in the film. Godzilla and Kong put aside their rivalry to face a common enemy, proving that their fight in Egypt wasn't just senseless violence, it was a necessary clash that ultimately brought them together. But let's not forget the elephant, or rather, the Titan in the room, Scar King, a malevolent ancient Titan with the power to manipulate others and spread chaos. There's growing speculation among fans that Scar King had already begun influencing the world above, even possibly affecting Godzilla's mind. Subtle, insidious manipulation. If true, Godzilla's sudden aggression toward Kong may have been more than instinct. It could have been a result of Scar King's psychic influence, nudging ancient rivalries into open warfare. Absolutely. Without this brutal confrontation, Godzilla and Kong wouldn't have understood each other's roles in the coming war. The Egypt battle was a turning point, a moment where two alphas tested each other before joining forces. Let's take a moment to dive into some of the most compelling fan theories. Some believe Kong's presence in Egypt was orchestrated by Monarch to provoke Godzilla and force an alliance against Scar King. Others suggest that Godzilla, sensing Kong's growing power and new weapon, the Beast Glow, saw him as a potential usurper. And then there's the theory that ancient energy sources under Egypt amplified their aggression, much like how Hollow Earth energy affects Titan behavior. Fortunately, the Egypt battle wasn't the end. It was a necessary clash that paved the way for understanding. Once they realized the greater threat, the two Titans forged a new alliance. But that moment in Egypt, raw, primal, explosive, wasn't just about misunderstanding. It was about proving strength, reestablishing order, and setting the tone for what was to come. So why did Godzilla attack Kong without hesitation? Because in a world ruled by monsters, action speaks louder than words. And sometimes you have to fight your brother to save your kingdom. So the next time you watch Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire, remember, this wasn't just a random fight. It was a calculated, instinct-driven clash with a deeper meaning. What do you think? Was Godzilla justified in attacking Kong, or was there another reason we missed? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more MonsterVerse breakdowns.